What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm still recovering from being sick, and instead of making a vlog today, I decided that I would go through and list off every place that I've been to in the United States, and I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. I'm gonna start on the West Coast with like California, and then I'm just gonna work my way through the United States and see. Disclaimer, I have never been out of the country before, so that is why you will not see any of those, and that's why it's where I've been in the USA. So I have a whole list, front and like a quarter of the back. Some of these places just have one city in them, some of these have a lot. So altogether, I've been to 14 states out of the 50 that are here. Okay, starting off with the West Coast, we're gonna start with California. And the last time I went to California was August of 2016. It was August of 2016 is the last time we took my nephew to Disneyland, which I actually have vlogs from the trip. We actually went to Las Vegas, Nevada, and then drove to California to go to Disneyland, and our hotel was right next to Disneyland. And I have the vlog, and I actually have a playlist, so if I remember, I'll throw that in the description below so you guys can see those videos. It was a really fun trip, and it was great, but that was in 2016. So in California altogether, I've been to Los Angeles, I've been to Anaheim, California, Fulton, San Diego. We actually went to SeaWorld, and this was back in like 2007 maybe. We went to San Diego for SeaWorld. I've been to Long Beach, and I've been to Venice Beach. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not gonna say 100%, but I think we've been to Santa Monica, but I'm just not putting it into this video or on my list because I'm not 100% sure about that. I actually could go watch my vlogs from that trip in 2016 because there was parts in there when we were at the beach, and I can't remember if that was Venice or if that was Santa Monica, but you guys can let me know. I had a funny video where I actually lost a GoPro. It wasn't even my GoPro. It was my mom's friend's GoPro, and I had it on my head. I dove into the ocean and I lost it, and we actually recovered the GoPro. We spent a lot of time searching, and in that video I actually have the GoPro, of course, recording, and in that video shows the GoPro moving around through the ocean floor, and it was scary because I thought I lost it, and we found it. It actually ran into, I think it was my mom's leg, and so she caught it, and I bent down and I grabbed it, and so you guys could check that out. Like I said, I'll leave the playlist down below. So moving on over, the next state that I have listed right here is Nevada. Really the only place that I've been to in Nevada is Las Vegas. Of course, I've driven through other cities. Like I've driven through, like, I don't know, like a couple cities to get to Las Vegas, you know what I mean? Like I haven't actually like stopped there. So Las Vegas is really like the main city that I've been to, and you know, if any of my family watches this and they have something different to say, well then you just let me know. But Las Vegas is the only city I actually remember going to, and the last time I was in Vegas was last April. We actually went in March. Again, it's on my YouTube channel. We went to a NASCAR race. It was me and my dad, and then exactly 2 or 3 weeks later, I went back with my mom and my sister and my sister's husband, and we went back there to spend Easter out there. So I have all that stuff on the YouTube channel. And of course, to get to Las Vegas, we had to drive through Arizona. I've stopped in Flagstaff. I've been to Flagstaff, Arizona. I've been to Kingman, Arizona. And I've been to Holbrook, Arizona. Those are the places that we stopped. Like we've driven through Winslow, Arizona. I'm not sure what other place really we've driven through. And other cities around there, if I don't remember going in my memory going to other cities, but maybe when I was little, like a really little kid, I went to one of these cities, but that's just something I have no idea. So again, this is just off of memory of what I actually remember being in, so that's where we're going off there. Next up, we got Colorado, and I've been to Denver, and when I was little, we went to Denver, and we went and toured the brand new Denver Broncos stadium when the stadium was first built. When they remodeled the whole stadium, I was a Broncos fan at the time, and we went and we got some souvenirs, and I got a picture with some of the cheerleaders. And I'm not a Broncos fan now. I actually switched in 2007, and it was probably the best choice of my life because it's been 11 years that I've been a Patriots fan, and you can't complain about them. I'm scarred for life right there by using the Patriots tattoo. And it was a great decision. I have no regrets. That's one thing I know. Colorado Springs, I've stopped in before, but we don't really do much out there, but I have stopped and actually been there before. And I'm pretty sure I've been to other cities in Colorado, but I can't think of the names, so my bad. Here's where it comes a long list. In this list, in this state alone, I have 20 cities in this state alone. And you guys will understand because I'm from this state. So New Mexico. Yes, New Mexico, not Mexico. A lot of people that don't know, New Mexico is a part of the United States. We are not Mexico. We are right in between Texas and Arizona. Okay, we became a state in 1912. So if you guys don't believe me, go to Google Maps, look up a map of the United States, look right in between Arizona and Texas. You'll see this little state, comes down, it has like a little staircase at the bottom. That is New Mexico. Okay, so I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's like the biggest city we have in New Mexico, and that's where I live right now. And so of course, I had to go on the list. I've been to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I've been to Roswell, to Anthony, New Mexico, Las Cruces, Bernalillo, Rio Rancho, Artesia, Tucumcari, Edgewood, Moriarty, Gallup, Grants, Las Vegas, New Mexico. Yes, Las Vegas, New Mexico is a real thing. Las Lunas, Espanola, Belen, Corrales, the Acoma Pueblo, and Jemez. Okay, those are just a few of the places. There's a lot of places that I haven't been to that I want to, like Santa Rosa, to Carlsbad, over to Alamogordo. I haven't been to those places that I remember. I just don't remember ever going to those places, but these places that I've been to, I used to do a lot of bowling professionally, and I was through high school, and then I turned into JBT, and then I used to travel around New Mexico and Texas to go bowling and stuff, and I have rewards and stuff packed away in this closet when I moved, so that's all fun and games in there. Next up is Kansas. The places that I remember going to Kansas is, of course, Kansas City. Alright, I've been to Topeka, yeah, and Junction City. I've probably been to other places. I know my mom is from Shawnee Mission, Kansas. I just don't physically think I've ever been there, but I could be 100% wrong. Actually, I think I'm wrong, and I have been to Shawnee Mission, but I don't know. I just don't ever remember going. Maybe, like I said, I was little. I just don't fully know. This is on 3%. It's on 3%. I started this update yesterday. Anyway, so I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to Oklahoma City before, and actually that's pretty much it. I've driven through Oklahoma plenty of times to get to Nebraska, which we'll get to in just a minute, but I've driven through Oklahoma before. I've probably been to a couple other places. I think I have, but the only one I remember is Oklahoma City at one point. In Texas, I've been to Lubbock, Amarillo, and Anthony. So Lubbock and Amarillo is when I bowled. I traveled through Texas to go bowling in tournaments and stuff. And Anthony, Texas is actually the same as Anthony, New Mexico. They actually are basically right next to each other. So we went through Anthony, New Mexico, and right when you get off the freeway, there's a sign that says "Welcome to Texas." And so you go up, and right as soon as you exit off, you're in Texas. And then we actually flipped the U-turn, came down the street, and came back into New Mexico. And then when we left, we again had to leave through New Mexico, go through Texas to get back into New Mexico. So Anthony, New Mexico, and Texas are basically kind of like mashed together as one, but it's kind of funny. It is really funny, but that's the best way to explain it. So Nebraska, we have some family that's out there. My mom's old stepsister and her family lives out there, and we visited them before, and they live in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we've gone out there a couple other times for a couple other reasons, which means that we've also been to Omaha, Nebraska. We've been to Grand Island and Shelby, Nebraska. Now, the only reason we stopped in Shelby, Nebraska is because my sister's name is Shelby, and she wanted to get a picture by the water tower that said Shelby on top. And so we stopped down in Shelby, Nebraska, and got a picture. These next few are actually the one that I'm coming up to now, and the last two, or in the second from last. I'll explain to you as I get to them, but this one right here in Minnesota, I've been to Minneapolis, Minnesota. The farthest that I've actually walked out into Minneapolis is like to the front doors of the airport. But we kind of like explored through the airport, and we were kind of looking outside, and it was freezing cold up there, and it was just cold, and it was like summer, but you know, coming from where I live with the dry heat and then going up to Minneapolis, Minnesota, even inside the airport, it was freezing, and that was absolutely insane. And you kind of walk by the front doors, and as soon as those doors open, it was still kind of cold. I just kind of wasn't used to it and stuff like that, but it's not like horribly bad. You know, we could have gone in the winter, but we went in the summer, and it was a little bit chilly. And then of course we got back in a plane and flew. So I probably should have done these two in a little bit different order. Okay, I have Wisconsin first and then Illinois, but I should have swapped them because we actually took a plane and landed in Chicago, Illinois. And we actually rented a car and drove from Chicago, Illinois to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And that was in 2011. That was December 9th of 2011, because we were actually going to a Green Bay Packer game on the 11th of December. And they were playing the Oakland Raiders in Lambeau Field, and they destroyed them. But we went, and we landed in Chicago, and my sister was decked out in Packers gear and Chicago Bears, and they have a rivalry, and it was horrible. Like, I didn't want to stand anywhere near her because I didn't want to get hit. So and we drove from Chicago, Illinois to Green Bay, Wisconsin. We had a great time. It was really fun. So those are two more states right there, Illinois and Wisconsin. I've been to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and again it was for like a little bit inside the airport, and we had a Philly cheesesteak, because you gotta go to Philadelphia to get like a legit Philly cheesesteak. And so we did that, and it was really good. It was really good. It wasn't too cold up there, because I want to say this was like fall-ish, kind of like that. It was almost around the same time it is now. So it was like still summer actually, but it was like, anyway, it wasn't too bad up there. It wasn't as cold as it was in Minneapolis around the same time, because when we went to Minneapolis and we went to Philadelphia, it was for two reasons, because both those times we were going to Florida, and it was just two different times. Like, we went like 2-3 years apart. And so I've been to Orlando, Florida. We went for Disney World and Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure and all those places. We've been there twice, and I think that's the only place in Florida that I've actually been that I can remember off the bat. Maybe we did go to the ocean out in Florida. The first time we went was when Florida had that giant oil spill, and so the ocean was literally closed, and so we drove by the ocean, but we never, of course, we couldn't stop. And then the second time we went there, we didn't go, but the second time we went to like the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, and we did all the fun stuff like that, and it was a great time. So we've been to Florida twice, we've been to California a few times, and of course I live in New Mexico. I've been to Las Vegas, Nevada a few times. I think I went when I was little, and then I've gone a couple times. I've gone like 3 times in like the last like 2 years. So actually we just went to California. It was like, we went to Las Vegas in California 2 years ago last week, and that was the first time me going as an adult, and I still wasn't 21 at the time actually. And then when I went last March and last April of 2017, I still wasn't 21, so I still couldn't do anything, and now I am 21. And so, you know, that's the fun part about that. There's just a few things that we've done in my life. I just wanted to share with you. Instead of making a vlog, I wanted to share with you the places that I have been in the US. And feel free to let me know down below where you guys have been, if you guys have been to the same place as me, if you guys live in any of the places that I mentioned here, or where else you have been that I haven't listed on here. And we'll kind of see where everybody has been and hasn't been, and where people are living. And the one place I wish I could visit always is Boston, Massachusetts, up there. I'm a Patriots fan, so I've always wanted to go to Foxborough and go see that. So that's like one place on my list that I need to go, but I have been to one professional sports game, and that was Green Bay Packers and Oakland Raiders. That was fun. It was a great experience. Even though I was a Patriots fan at the time, still it was a great experience to see another team. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.